Hey guys, for this week's assignment, we are supposed to modify a lesson for technology integration, which means truly bringing the technology into the lesson. Showing a YouTube video is more of like a piggyback. It's like, yeah, you use technology, but that technology is not integrated into the lesson. So I'm going to talk about a few ways that I have integrated technology into lessons and then talk about my plans for the future. So to begin with, we're going to go to my UEN page. There's a few things on here that I wanted to show you. The first is what I call the Mesopotamia playlist. Now this is something that I took from another teacher and modified to be what it is now. So the entirety of the idea is not mine, but the way it's created on here and the way that the technology is integrated into it is my work. So, sixth grade part of the social studies core is Mesopotamia. I mean, all of the social studies core is world history. Mesopotamia is about as old as world history gets. So, what this does is it takes that each student has a piece of paper, so they're working on the paper, but they're also working there with the computer in front of them. And as they scroll down through this, there's different things, like they're going to read a little passage here. They have this on their paper in front of them. They've got to be highlighting it also. We've got a map. We've got some links to go and watch videos, so that the technology is truly integrated, one side by side working. That it's there the whole time. Another thing that I have was some country presentations. Now for this, they did a lot of research on a country, which we used the computer for. So, I mean, it's integrated in that way. But then they had to take that information that they had learned, and they did create a report along the way, drawing the map, drawing the flag and all this other stuff. But they then had to turn this, and I wanted to make it a little bit different than just standing up and this is my country. So I had them work in groups, and they created a game where, let's see if it will let me, yes. They had to create a game where it's like, okay, well, here's a fact. This country has the largest reef, the Great Barrier Reef. Is it Australia, South Africa, or Madagascar? So then they guide the class through this. So they're giving their facts through technology, but in a way that's a little more engaging than just getting up and talking about their country. The final thing, let's see if I can get back to my UEN. The final thing I wanted to show you, well, not final, there's two more, sorry. Novio presentations was the same kind of thing. I wanted them to take something that they had learned, and they created a Novio about it. The real learning experience with this one, for me, was that not only did I have to have taught them, we had to more than go through the activity, but I then had to turn around and teach them what Novio was and how to use it, because they had never seen or heard of it before. The final thing on here is something that I have done every single year in sixth grade, but this is going to be a new twist to it. Every year I have them create a poster about a planet that they've done research on. So the technology is integrated there through the research as it is, but then we're going to take it a step further now. And rather than creating a poster board poster, they're going to create a digital poster. Now each of these will eventually link to the digital poster that they've created, but because I've not yet done this lesson with my students, I've only got my example. So I created one for the sun to give them an idea of what I wanted. It's distance from the Earth, which they'll do distance from the sun, but the sun's, distance from the sun is 0. Size, how many planets. So obviously my facts are a little bit different being a star compared to a planet, but the idea is the same. They're going to do the research through technology, and then they're going to create the digital poster, which is another integration in. They're linked on my web page, which is yet another integration in, so that technology is there the whole way through. the final thing I wanted to talk about is something that I plan on jumping into this year, and I've just barely started to learn about it, so I don't have a lot going on with it yet. But Canvas. I'm just learning Canvas, so this is something that I really want to dive into and try. Um, I like the idea of thinking about Canvas as rather than a class like we use it for UEN, but more so a unit. So I'm creating my unit on water cycle, and then these will be the modules that follow that unit. This will be true integration because as we get into that, we're going to have assignments, we're going to have discussions, and all of that Canvas allows us to put into it. So hopefully Canvas will allow me to have yet another way to truly integrate technology into my classroom. That's it. I've showed you several examples that I have done and what I plan on doing to modify my lesson plans for the future. I hope you enjoyed the presentation. Thanks.